Hi, it's been a while since I made a video. I was always thinking of making videos sooner and sooner and sooner, but doing the research and stuff like this, the up and down and the confusion and words and how things work, and make a little bit thing complicated. But I think we have, I'm tried to, and I have a lot of people around me start to understand what I'm seeing when I said, resonance is not a frequency. As long as you will sleep saying frequency and resonance are the same, you always will be buying power from the Midas. The way they make, energy and prime energy, and so you can release energy. They don't want you to know that, period. Because that would make you self-sufficient, and you wouldn't have no need for all those prick and Ottawas. So, or the parliaments, those fucking wannabe that can't, most of those people, they just don't understand that. You're feeding your slave from the beginning. But anyway, back to what the research is more we learn. This machine, this little guy here is probably the most important tools of all. It teach you a whole lot of what all the scientists cannot explain because they're too fucking stupid, and all of the people over there, they call me name or whatever. I don't really care, because those people are don't worth a dime, laying flat in the street. So I don't really care about that. But for the one who actually want to learn about something, is to release the energy is the main. This is what you want to do. We have tons of energy around us, and again, neuroscientists is static electricity, RMS, they don't even know what it is, because they're too goddamn stupid to find out what it is. Because if they find out suddenly, they've been working all their life spending hundreds of fucking billions of dollars, their life is over, because they've been spending people's money for no reason, just so they can have a cushy living, more likely. So it's very simple. Resonance is all around you. It's constant. You don't hear it. Some people think they can, and I think it's very possible. Some people can have a very sensitive ears, or a defect in their eardrums or whatever, and they can hear resonance, and that drives them nuts. We call them white noise. If you cannot explain something, call it white noise. If you cannot explain it, but call it something, right? Instead of explaining, it's a lot easier, to keep the bullshit going forward. But since I started, I discovered what, resonance is the base of everything. Without resonance, you have nothing. You remove resonance, you have nothing at all. This planet is dead. Just a dead ball, a dead mass floating in the universe. So but soon you start creating, or you start admitting resonance, then things happen. Things start to vibrate. Things start to activate, turn alive, creating energy. And that's exactly what resonance does. And it's all around you. It's limitless. So is nitrogen gas. Nitrogen gas is one of the best energy, and we can tap, because we've been tapping into nitrogen for the longest time. Every single explosive. Without nitrogen, you cannot build road, you cannot blow up mountain, you cannot go in the mine and start blasting and get material out of a mine or of the ground without nitrogen. It's been a fact of life since we were born. Nitrogen is an explosive. Well, you can use an explosive, but you can also use as a fuel, right? You don't have to prime it so it became so bloody versatile, you blow the whole place up. So your car, matter of fact, runs on nitrogen. Your airplane runs on nitrogen, your train runs on nitrogen, everything with a piston, anything combustion, anything or you say you put gas, fuel into it, aircraft, turbine, without nitrogen, those fucker don't run. Period. You know, never mind oxygen. Just stick with nitrogen. It's 80% of what the air you breathe. So let's stick with the big guy, right? The big guy is the one who does the work, because the little guy can't pull what the big guy can do. Period. I don't care how much you do the fucking math. You remove energy by themselves. The small energy cannot trump the big energy. Period. So what we decide is to explain what exactly we're doing right now. The Joe cell. Well, Joe cell actually works really well. It has to be tuned. Now, to me, tuning is resonance. Because as today, you know, I hate to say that, I'm not badmouthing the guy, by all the years being in the internet, and it doesn't have a simple explanation how his cell works, is because he doesn't fucking know. Which is nothing wrong with not knowing, but just saying straight up there, I don't know why it works, but it works for that, right? And let other people figure it out if you can't figure it out. But you know, this is the problem with all the fucking people who find stuff, you know, who work, but they cannot explain, but they hold down like a boat anchor when you go swimming. How, you know, hanging on to a 1,000-pound boat anchor when you go for a swim in the ocean is not a good idea, because you're going to go right to the bottom. And it's exactly what he did with that Joe cell. A few people have been working on it. I've been working on it in a short time, not because I didn't want to work on it for a long time, but I had some spare time in my hand, waiting for fucking parts all the time. You know, material we can't fucking find in North America and stuff like this, you know. So I had lots of fucking time in my hand. So so I decided to build a Joe cell and study it and see how it works, right? Yeah, it does create imploding gas, exploding gas, neutral gas. Gas doesn't do fuck all. But why? No one's asking the fucking why question. And the why question, I think, got answered to me when my cell went to the States and the guy hooked it up to one of his vehicle, and the vehicle didn't start, didn't make a backfire or nothing. We're not using the gas to go into the motor, because it's, you know, anybody who does that is literally slightly retarded. It's a good idea, but not practical. The thing which really impressed me about it, it was kind of an accident. And most discovery always had as an accident. So what I'm trying to do is to explain exactly what happened here. The cell got on a vehicle, an international truck, a V8. Didn't do much for the truck, but it did something else, because the guy, he was wearing a wireless headset, not a Bluetooth apparently, just wireless headset. And I believe those wireless headset run on 55 kilohertz. But don't quote me on that, but you know, it's fairly high on the frequency. And the headset pick up a noise when he was going closer to the cell. Now, there's no moving part in that cell, you know, just for all the people. There's no motor in that cell. It's just tube of stainless steel. Matter of fact, the exact same tube of stainless steel, right? One inside the other. That's all it is, right? But the cells start to emit a signal, which was a noise, a very strong noise, into the headset. He could not hear it, because his headset, you know, is not made to transmit back the feedback. But I could hear it from my computer. I said, you know, and I told him, I said, can you move away from the cell? And the sound goes away. Can you move back to the cell? And the sound get really loud as closer the cell is. And that was interesting, because there's nothing moving in that cell. The motor's not running, nothing is running. You just have the 12 volt, you know, the pressure is up at 20 pounds in the cell, and suddenly we're having a radio transmission, right? So people can call it whatever they want, but that was a radio transmission. I could hear it on my end of the line. So, and the guys in the States, and we do it through the Skype. So if that was not radio frequency, I don't know how much radio frequency is. So at that point in time, that got me really thinking. Got me, you know, first thing, always, you know, thing pissed me off, but that got me thinking. What the hell is the sound I'm hearing through this headphone when you get close to the headset, when you get close to the cell? Well, then I start thinking back to what I was saying. Oh my God. You know, it's true. The cell is talking. So we have resonance into the cell. Well, that makes sense because we're putting DC in it. And that, like I said before, DC is not an electricity, whatever you want to call it. The AC is it resonate at such a high rate. People don't really know about it. Now, why can you not use straight AC to transmit radio? You have to convert everything into a square wave, to DC square wave. As a matter of fact, impulse DC is a much stronger transmission, much cleaner transmission than a square wave. So there again, why a battery, a DC battery, stay charged for years in a door, literally years. The military have some battery, they're good for 25 years. You know, diesel battery, 25 years. Because they resonate, and literally the amount of resonance they're losing that they lose slowly is almost being replenished by the sun. Because the sun actually is not hot, it's just a big resonating ball. You know, everybody thinks it's so bloody hot, but the surface of the sun is not. All those pictures from NASA and all of the thing there with all the nice colors and the flame coming up, ain't red. Okay, it's pure white. So, and if, you know, it just you know, all this is, I'm not buying that. It's pure bullshit. And so I mean, if resonance is the culprit of creating energy today, well, everybody, if they know what they're working with, they will be able to do the same thing. So if you learn what resonance is, it's not a wave sign signal. It's just like looking through a screen, a mosquito screen, right? It distorts everything. And it's like try to figure out how many little square I got to look through. It's almost impossible to count that and to keep counting it without losing your spot. So it's very hard to figure it out. But resonance have density. Have density, and resonance also does one thing. Resonance controls gravities. You know, it controls gravities because a certain amount of resonance will let, you know, the electron to keep in order for the gravity to happen, because we all have ion electron. Everybody's got some ion electrons. You know, and the iron electron is the one who's going to give you the most gravities. Now, we have electron, wood's got an electron, plastic has got its own electron, glass has got its own electron, copper, everybody's got a different type of electron. Different type of wood have different type of electron from the other wood, right? So, but this is what balances out everything. Now, all we have to do now is figure out, which is we're really close to do, is I know it takes resonance to create a hertz, because a hertz is a volume of something no one can really tell you. Well, the volume is resonance. And then when you achieve a certain volume of resonance, it became 1 hertz. At 1 hertz, you induce that into a copper wire, you know, a certain line, certain size, right? It will give you exactly 1 volt at 1 hertz. And that's where you start. That's your beginning of your recipe, right? So now resonance turned to hertz because of the volume of it. So when we achieve to be able to calculate the density and the mass of resonance into a cubic meter or cubic foot, whatever you want, cubic inch, I don't really care. As long as you have a starting size and you figure out how much volume of resonance, have that, you know. And on volume again, you know, volume, you take the word volume and remove the word volt. Get rid of it, that guy, and just use volume, because that's what volt reflects, is volume. So let's call it the way it is, right? So now we have the volume. Now we have to figure how to make it release. Well, we know if you have so much resonance and you achieve a hertz, if you induce a wire with it, it will give you 1 volt at 1 hertz. Because I did that. So it's not something that's impossible, because I did it. And now we're having a base of calculation. See, the big magic thing is to not, it's not a question of moving a volume. You know, you have to do some movement of volume to another volume. But the biggest thing is we have to learn how to release energy. Because energy is around you. All you got to do is release it. But to release it, we have to see. You can't release a phantom, right? You can't see a phantom beside you. You don't see, don't feel nothing. How are you going to release something for this guy if you don't see it and you cannot manipulate or give him what you want to release it? He can't talk to you. He doesn't talk to you. So, I mean, like, you know, as long as we have no conversation and no agreement, what that energy is invisible and is giving us the finger, right? So I think we have a very good groups coming together here, you know, which are, you know, working really hard and try to, you know, understand what I'm saying. Because they cannot understand what the other guy is saying, because the other guy is saying, pay me and I give you power. And that's run into this end now. So I think with the group we have today, we have some R&D, very well-known R&D guy, because I know him personally. They're really good, and a go-getter, mathematician. We have an expert in machining and manufacturer. You know, so he knows his way around a shop. And we have a good sized lab, apparently about 10,000 foot. So I mean, all we do right now, we're going to tool that up, and to be able to you know, to open a lab in the States, and to see how far we can go. I'm still trying to open a lab in Canada, but Canada's kind of a, you know, it's always been like this since I'm a kid. You know, if you want to get something done, you got to go to other country. Canada's not the country to do anything. You know, with the country of flowers, right? So I mean, like, you know, everybody, you know, peace and this and peace and that, you know, but when you want something, you got to go to another country to buy it. We've been like this since I was born. That's 60 years, right? So it's nothing new about it. It'll never change, you know. It's always going to be like this. You know, it's you know, the beaver country. Let's put it this way, and there'll never be anything else but the beaver country. I will never live long enough to see anything happening in Canada, period. So you know, they don't have enough. They don't have balls, period. They don't have the balls to see the future. They don't have the ball to see. The only thing they have the ball to see is, you know, is watch the TV. So I mean, like, you know, we'll leave it at that. But hopefully, I would say the work right now is fairly close. So hopefully by the beginning or the end of this spring, we're probably going to have some prototype. We're going to be testing up the prototype a little bit to make sure they'll be safe for people to test it themselves, to build themselves, to do whatever they want with it. But you know, it's one thing, you know, is always behind my mind. If you learn how to manipulate and release energy around you, that's a sword, double-edged sword. Because if you learn how to release it, you know how to manipulate it. It will be used, you know, also for destruction. Because then it became a really easy equation to do. So in the meantime, well, we're just going to try to produce some power and get rid of the pollution. You know, it's a very simple thing. It's nitrogen, resonance, and nitrogen. You know, when you prime nitrogen properly with nitrogen, it doesn't produce any emission which is harmful for this planet or us. It actually cleans the air. It will suck dirty air. So the electric car, it's a bandage. I mean, it's probably going to be good for the next 5 years, you know, but it doesn't clean the air because you're still making pollution to make this car. And then when the car, you already made enough pollution, and then you have to charge it, you're making more pollution. And then your batteries are not good, you're making more pollution. And the tire is not good anymore, you're making more. So it's a pollutant constantly. It doesn't matter if it's electric, you know, wind power, whatever. It's also going to create garbage. We all know that. If you don't, well, go jump off the bridge. You're totally stupid. So if we achieve to make a which has been done before, so we should be okay with that. So it's not something new, it's never been done before. We should be able to prime the nitrogen with resonance, proper level of resonance, and to prime the nitrogen going into your motor and turn it to fuel, just like no different than what the fuel you're putting in your tank. If you think that fuel is fuel, is explosive, I hate to tell you, but it's not. You remove the nitrogen out of a room and you fill it up with whatever you want, but not nitrogen. You can't even light up a fucking lighter. You can't light up you can't strike a matches and it won't light up. Okay? It's nothing there. It won't burn. So I mean, that fuel of yours is strictly carbon based, but it does a reaction with nitrogen when is put in the right quantity for the right volume of air going through, you know, going through your motor or your jet engine, whatever. If the mixture is not right to prime that nitrogen, you have no ignition, or you have over ignition. You over prime it, it became too versatile, or you under prime it and you have no reaction. So you always have to be tuned. The word is tune, right? We always have to tune this thing. Well, the word tune apply for everything, because if you're not in tune, your body not in tune, my body is not in tune, your body is not in tune, we all walk like decrepit now and we don't feel good. So I mean, this is the main understanding of literally and limitless free energy, is how to release the energy, how to prime and how to manipulate that energy without blowing yourself up. Because, hey, shit happened, you know. So I mean, like, you know, before you made an omelet, you know, before you do the perfect fry eggs, you make a whole whack of omelet or mush eggs. But you know, we have to learn that process, since no one's out there to teach you that process, because it's a big fucking mystery again, because it's all about money. So it's always interesting to see what everything is out there, and everybody, oh, we got something going out, you know, coming out, and this and that. When you ask for, you know, you go online, you ask for information, all they give you, you know, they don't give you a shitload of nothing, because they have nothing. I mean, if they had something, believe me, they'd be like the fucking chicken when he laying eggs. You know, that fucking chicken would be, you know, cook-a-loo-doo for half a day because she laying eggs. You want to make sure everybody knows she laying eggs, right? So it's no such a thing like this. I mean, like, you know, the military knows exactly what I'm fucking talking about, ain't it? Right? All the your little fucking scientists you have, right? You know, they work with that. And that's what most people are so afraid. If somebody else learn how to manipulate the nitrogen and our gas of we're living, it could be the end of this world. Well, look, we are at the end of this world. This fucking world is not worth a fucking $3 bill, because this world is fake. It's a $3 bill. All we look around us is fake, controlled by a bunch of son of a bitch about, you know, about everything. So at that point in time, hopefully we'll continue and do our thing and bring the technology to the people, but the people will have the responsibility You know, they will have the responsibility, because with this knowledge, you can make it or you can blow it, one or the other. So I mean, like, you know, it's all all we have, all in this world. It's just a question of learning how to release the biggest energy in this planet, which is nitrogen right now, because nitrogen, the volume, the mass of nitrogen is about 3 times the size of the Earth right now. So I'm pretty sure, to me, it's a pretty large mass of explosive we have in this planet. You know, everybody, you know, always interested in know how complicated a nuclear bomb is. Holy fuck, it's not complicated. As long as you got, you know, you got your plutonium, the right level of plutonium, you know, refined plutonium, compress it with so many pounds or kilos into a perfect little ball, and then you cover it with a, you know, with the explosive we have with it, make with nitrogen again, and then we do an explosion on the top of this ball. What do you think's happening inside that ball? A massive amount of pressure, you know, create very, very fast. And what happened then, we have a reaction, and that reaction trigger a chain reaction, and then hell all break loose, right? Now you see the big fucking mushroom going up, and then the skin is going to fall off your bone and know if you're too close. So it's all about manipulation and the proper volume. So, you know, it's sad to say, but, you know, we might have to blow this fucking planet to fix it, because people are just have, you know, the civilization on this planet have mad cow disease. So hopefully, you know, it will be enough research, we can actually release this energy and control it properly, which it shouldn't be a problem. You know, I mean, look, everybody's got weapon, but you don't see people going around and shooting people. The odd one, they have a reason. More likely they have a reason, and more sometimes they're just not stable. Well, you know, I won't be able to make smart people out of stupid people. This is a task no one can do. You know, those, you know, you can't make sugar with shit. Okay. I mean, a lot of companies trying to do that, but you can't make sugar out of shit. So that's bottom line. But at least, you know, I'm trying to. And if people want to jump in the bandwagon to help out, then yeah, I mean, go for it. I mean, we have, you know, we have a company, me and Leah, we created a company in the state where she did a lot of, I mean, she did all the work literally. She's, you know, unbelievable. And as a non-profitable organization, that's, I mean, we make no profit. Whatever money goes into that company, it goes right back, and research and product comes out for the people. And whatever the material gets sold, the money goes back to make some more of that stuff and do more research for other type of technology. So I mean, like, you know, it's an open site. Matter of fact, you know, it will be open. Everything is open into the internet, as long as the internet lasts. You know, after that, then what can I do? We'll go back to writing letters and Pony Express. You know, so you know, it's, if people feel like, you know, you understand or you know the way I'm going with that and stuff like this, if you want to help, be my guest. You know, and in the state, I think you have, you'll be able to have, because the company is in the States, you'll be able to have tax credit on that. But the other country, I don't know how the hell it works, because hey, try to figure out what 2 countries can do, be my guest. So but anyway, it's at that point, and I'm still, you know, doing research here, since all my stuff is in the States right now, getting duplicated. So you know, and we're sending some to England, we're sending some, we got some in the States. I'm getting my stuff back, you know, and so people, we have multiple places where people can work with that and learn how that works. So, but you know, it's a struggle. It's not easy. You know, like people, you know, they don't realize how intense it could be to be so close to understanding the truth of energy instead just talking about it. So I mean, like, look at my shop. It's a mess because that's where things get done. When you see a shop and everything is perfectly, you know, I mean, the floor is shiny and all that, and the bench are empty, and all the tools, all the equipment are perfectly placed out. Nothing ever come up with those things. It's just a fucking gong show. You know, come to my lab to take a look at all my nice stuff. Or what come out of your lab. I'm coming in, but what's coming out of your lab? Anything? Right? That's exactly what's going on in the lab today. Not much going on. Nothing really comes out beside fucking Tesla car with 1,100 pounds of fucking lithium batteries. Woohoo! I can't wait for that. You know, fucking, I call it that fucking battery operated dildo. You know, when the battery are dead, you gotta push it home. So I mean, like, you know, I don't know. I mean, like, you know, electric plane with a battery. What the fucking stupid idea is that? Right? If you have an electric motor, it should be running on its own, not with a fucking battery. Because if you have a battery, that fucker will die. Because humans are always making that mistake, looking at the fucking gauge, how much you got. If the gauge doesn't work properly, you don't know what you got. Oh, I think I got enough. Let's go for a ride. You know, 10 minutes later, this fucking guy plowed himself into a parking lot. Well, I mean, like, you know, it's stupidity, right? It happened with gas. And because they're too stupid to check their fucking gas. They run out of fucking fuel. Well, hey, that's stupidity. I just call that natural selection for the stupid. So, I mean, like, you know, they should be, you know, destroyed before birth, you know, because the IQ kind of left the barn at that point in time. So, a lot of people think I'm sour and stuff like this. Not in the least, you know. I'm not sour because I don't have a whole lot of time left in my life, so I don't really fucking care, right? I could be sour for the young people because they think, you know, the world owes them. You know, if things happen, you know, it's always the fault of the world. You know, they don't want to do anything for themselves. So hopefully that will change. I don't see it, but hopefully that will change. Those are all wishful thinking, right? And you know, it's just a struggle through the whole goddamn thing. You know, I mean, like, people say, oh yeah, we hear about those guys. You know, they start something. Yeah, well, they get I got discouraged many times. Believe me, I had many times. I said, fuck with this shit. You know, it's easier for me to figure something to annihilate the civilization of this planet than try to control it, because controlling is the key word on everything. We have to be able to manipulate the energy. If I just release the energy and let it fucking go a while, and it will be the end of the civilization around this planet, because hydrogen is all connected from one place to the other. It doesn't sit around one continent. It's around the world. So nitrogen is a very easy, is the source of energy. It's way more nitrogen than hydrogen and all the rest of the gas. Okay, he rules. Nitrogen rules this planet. So let's work with it. You know, if we're smart, we can be, you know, pollution free in the next 10 years if we know what we're doing. It won't happen overnight, but in the next 10 years we can be, you know, we can at least cease to create pollution. Never mind cleaning it, because this is going to take another, you know, 300-400 years before you clean up the mess we made in this planet. So, you know, it's a big task. And I never thought it was that big when I started that, but as it goes in and it goes in and it goes in, you know, it's big. It's really big. I mean, you climate change and you global fucking warming, when you were fucking freezing our ass here. I said, you know, global warming doesn't happen, but weather change does. It's a natural phenomenon. You know, it's been changing since I'm born. And before I was born, I was doing the same thing. I was listening to some of the stories people had when I was young, and they were saying the same thing. It changed. I mean, I was doing logging with my brother up in northern Quebec, and I got stuck in a big swamp with my skidder. You know, I sunk about 10 feet. The back, the only thing was left, it was my radiator and my blade and part of my cab sticking out on the top of the mud. When I got pulled out of there, guess what stuck in my chain? A fucking palm tree. A palm tree branch stuck in my chain in the swamp in northern Quebec. Really. Right? I grew up with about 8 to 12 foot of snowfall and minus 60. Palm tree, eh? So obviously, the planet changed constantly. You know, it's not a lie. It changed constantly. But for people to suck money out of people, like the carbon tax, what the fuck they do with that money of carbon tax? I'm paying for the air I breathe today. What the fuck they're doing with the money? Besides putting it in their fucking pocket. Every fucking politician, they live in a fucking 2-bit shack, right? 2 years in the politician and they own fucking $1 million house. And they have fucking bank account all over the place. So they're not helping the people. They go in there to help themselves. Because that's the first thing they're going to do is help themselves, not the people. Oh fuck, are you going to starve for another 20 years here? I'm not done, you know, piling my little pile here. Right? So, I think, you know, people is going to have to realize there will be some change. You know, whatever is me, the group, or another group coming up with something, it will be a change. It will be either a expansion of the free energy, or it will be a total destruction of all energy. And one or the other will be welcome instead of where we sit today. Either total destruction, let's go back to the fucking, you know, wooden stove or whatever you want to do, or let's think smart and use the energy around us so we can stop sucking the life out of this planet, you know, and destroying everything up. So as long as I can make it, I can do it. That's my goal. And if you people, like I say, want to join the bandwagon to help, we have this, you know, Leah's got this website. All you got to do is take a look at it if you want to help. You know, in any way, it's open. People can see any days, any hours of the days, and any days of the month of the years, you know, what is going on in the company. It's totally open to public. There's no back doors and meeting and stuff like this. It's pretty much open. If it's $10 going there, people, the whole world can see where that $10 is spent on. It's not like UNICEF and all that X-Fam and all that crap and all those people that crying for money. You know, you give them $1, 1 penny go to the source, the rest goes all in their pocket. So we don't play like this. I'm not even taking a salary from that company. You know, it's not because I don't need money to live on. I do need money to live on, but I'm not taking any money from the company. You know, from the organization we just pulled in, put together. So I mean, like, you know, so if you feel like it, go ahead. If you don't feel like it, then go sit on the fence like the rest of the people and wait for the product to come up, and so you can be a user like everybody else. Because people who do nothing, they're just user. I call them leech, because they don't create anything. They just suck the life out of the people. So yeah, so hopefully everything will be, you know, will be sorted out in the next 2-3 months, and hopefully we'll have a summer or spring so we can dig ourselves out of this goddamn snowstorm, and we'll see what happens then. In the meantime, I'm probably going to do a video in the next 3 to 4 weeks again, so I can explain people what how far we're going and what the progress is, and to keep people informed. But hopefully, you know, we'll this year should be the year we'll be really bringing up to some products people can build themselves or wait till it comes out in the market and whatever. But all the drawing, the schematic, the part list, you know, Brad, We might have a part list by the summer. So we're just gonna keep on going till we got something working, and so we can release it for the people to use it. So beside that, that's about all I can say today. I will have a lot more, but I think my battery's gonna run dead. So just cross your finger, you know. Hope something's gonna happen soon. Sooner is better than later, but you know, life is a shit, and then we die. So on that note, well, I'm gonna cut short here, and I'll talk to you again if I'm still alive. And you guys drive safe and enjoy your life when you have it, because it might turn out to be pretty short. So you guys have a good day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.